Yo, welcome back. It's been a while. Today I'm doing a RAM Promaster brake pads. I did the right side. I was gonna do one side and then record for the left. And the caliper on the right ended up seizing the caliper bracket with the two little pistons, the sliders. One was frozen. So I had to go out and get a new caliper, put it on. This side's done, I bled it. It's all set, new pads. But I'm gonna show you a video of the left side pad replacement only. I should have done a caliper replacement, but it was 85 degrees out and I wasn't having it. But even if you have to replace your caliper, it's pretty simple. I'm gonna show you how to take the two mounting bolts off, and then if you're replacing your caliper, you just unscrew the brake line and put it back on. All right, less talking, more wrenching. Let's do the pads. All right, gonna jack the van up. I got this at Harbor Freight, man. It is a great little jack, man. It's actually big. Thing's powerful, only takes a couple pumps to get the truck up. A nice 3-ton jack. And just FYI, I am on the little jack mount there. And please remember to use jack stands and put your e-brake on. Safety first, safety last. You don't want to die under here, it's not fun. These lug studs are 21 mil. Yeah, man, 115,000 miles original pads. These calipers are Brembo, probably commercial version. The pads used to say Brembo on them, but they are rusty. I'm gonna put this tire away and disconnect the caliper. All right, the two caliper mounting bolts. They are hex drive metric. They are 14 mil. 14 mil. I'm gonna PB blast the bolts, let them soak for a couple. On the bolt. Little, there you go, let them sit for a little bit. These bolts do have a, well, mine do, they have a coating. I think it's a Caliper or a paint. And the other side, the 14 didn't fit, so I used 13. And then I almost spun them and realized that I gotta tap the 14 in because of the paint, kind of tap them in and then remove them with a hammer. Boom, boom, boom. Into the bolt. I'm all the way in. I'm gonna put my 1/2-inch impact gun on there and remove it. You're gonna need a beefy impact gun like this. 1/2-inch drive by Milwaukee. It's a beast. Doing this by hand would not be fun. See how much crap is inside these bolts? It's like all paint. They like doused it with paint and off the assembly line. So just a heads up, make sure you hammer it in nice and deep as far as you can to get these out, because you don't want to strip that. All right, once the bolts are out, get a screwdriver, flathead. I got a beefy flathead right here, or a pry bar, mini pry bar, whatever. Wiggle them. I'm replacing the rotors, so I'm not worried about damaging them. But they form a lip here. You know, 115,000 miles. It ain't gonna just slide off, so you gotta kind of separate a little bit. Top and bottom. There you go. Caliper is off the rotor. Let's go to wide lens. I'm gonna carefully rotate it and press it up here. Perfect spot for it to rest. These two little hub rivets here that align the wheel onto the hub of the rotor. These are 12 mil. There's not much to grab, so you might want to clean that a little bit so your socket sits all the way, because it's about 1/8 inch shy of surface area to grab. Little PB never hurt. All right, now get the socket all the way in and hope for the best. That was a good one. Huh. I gotta clean that one a little more. All right, I stripped this one, got a little scared, but I got my vice grips and clamped it onto the shaft of the rivet, and it actually didn't take much to break it loose. So when I go to put it back on the new rotor, I'll make sure I don't put it on too tight. It's just to line up the wheel. You'd probably be okay with just one, to tell you the truth. It's just easy to put the studs back on. All right, now the removal of the rotor. little at the hub. Get up there, dude. Give it up, sucker. Give it up, player. There we go. Wow, he's a beat. Our beat is a nasty lip right here. I mean, overall, the surface itself ain't that bad, but those suck. All right, what I like to do is get my little Dremel. I'm gonna clean this real quick, the hub ring here. Got a little fanned drum, sanded drum disc here with the Dremel. Works good. I also like to clean off any areas that are protruding that will not give me a flat mounting surface. Because the holes that are in the rotor, they can make deposits. Nice to have that hub clean. Ah, that's good. Is that zucchini?
Right there next to my garlic.
Yeah. My wife's first zucchini from the home garden kit. Check it out. You know it's gonna taste good. All right, enough about zucchinis. I heard Mark Roger likes eggplants, but beside all that, let's get these pads out. Yeah, these are nasty, dude. This side, I mean, it's thin, but it didn't have, like my right side. Right side was thin. This side sucks too. Now this pad on the inside where the pistons touch have a wire. It's a sensor. You gotta unplug it before you remove it. The other side was actually snipped. I don't know if that was like a cheating auto mechanic for future work or what, but it was snapped. It's a clean cut. And the new pads have new wires. And there's a bracket as well. You gotta kind of slide the plug off of it like that. And usually the wire's underneath that little loop, but it wasn't on this one, so this will just come right out. And there's your sensor wire. There's the sensor. It gets disconnected at some point or whatever, however it works. Fusible link gets disconnected and it shows a light. Mine didn't though. Didn't do anything. Even with the other one snipped, it didn't do anything. No codes, no lights. And the first thing you want to do is make sure this bracket slides properly before you do anything, because if it doesn't, see how it's sliding left and right? That's a good thing. Don't pull it too far like I just did. My other side was frozen. I had to get a new caliper. I heated it up with a torch. Nothing worked. I got it to move, but it wasn't moving freely, so I got a new caliper. Now we can install the pads. It doesn't hurt to get some brake cleaner and clean these slider brackets right here. If they're nasty, get a rag and just clean them out a little bit. That's where the pad slides on. I'm gonna grease them up as well. All right, I got some Permatex copper anti-seize lubricant. Thanks to my neighbor, good old Max comes over and he goes, "Hey, you got any grease?" I'm like, "Nah, I don't usually use grease." He's like, "He offered this, he had some," so I'm like, "Yeah, it's a good idea to use it." I asked Roger too. He's like, "Yeah, you should lube up the slides on the brakes, on the pads." I never used to do it, or if I did, I use lithium grease, but this is like copper grease. This is good stuff. Want to make sure the whole surface is greased, because you might miss a corner. I don't mind getting dirty. You can use a Q-tip or something if you're scared of getting dirty. And the pads, these are semi-metallic. Ceramics are better because they don't dust up much, but on a heavy truck like this, stopping power is better with the semi-metallics. This is the one with the sensor on it, the sensor wire. This goes on the inside where the pistons are. I don't know why it goes through that hole. But first I'm gonna put a little more grease on these tabs. because we don't want these getting stuck. And let's stand the caliper up. It's easier for me. Feed the wire through the hole. Oh yeah, right in there. Can't use lube in there. And just put it right into the bracket like that. And the top one, might need a screwdriver to push that tab up because it is kind of tight. Let's go from behind. Push it up and bang, that is in. Make sure you don't crimp your wire like I'm doing. There you go. Because I do have play, however, these pistons, I mean, these pads are missing almost a good 5/16 to 3/8 of pad, so these pistons have extended out. I'm gonna get a clamp and just squeeze it with the pad in, and just squeeze them a little bit so it's easier to go on the new rotor. I got them in a pretty good distance. And now the second pad, same thing. It's already lubed on the brackets. I'm gonna lube this edge, that edge, and stick it in. All right, got my clamp back out. I had to depress these even more just because you want a good amount of space there for the thickness of the rotor. Now to install the rotor. It's always good to get some brake cleaner. Clean the surface of the rotor on both sides with a clean rag because there might be oils and stuff on there. You don't want anything compromising the friction between the rotor and the pads. All right, just take the rotor and put it on. Move your caliper first. All right, line up the holes for those line-up rivets. It's really only 2 holes you can choose from. Again, these are just to line up the wheel onto the rotor, so. This is the one that's stripped. It went on good, but I'm gonna give it a little crank with the vice grips. Just to make sure it's on all the way. Because that squeezes the rotor onto the hub. Grab a caliper mount bolt. Take the caliper. Make sure you rotate it the way you took it off. That way you're not twisting the brake line. And then slide it over the rotor and line up the holes. And stick a bolt in. Top one. Top one's always easiest. That's in. The bottom bolt. Now I'll put those on snugly with my side impact and I'll finish it off with the impact, the 1/2 inch impact. Give it some ooga-doogas. There you go, those are mounted. And now to plug in that sensor wire all the way, make sure this clicks. Then you can slide the plug back onto this metal bracket. And also make sure that that wire is not being pinched by anything. It's free on the in the hole. There you go, that's it. Now when I did the caliper on the other side, I had to do bleeding. You don't have to do any bleeding when you're doing this. The only time you have to do bleeding is when you disconnect the brake line. But everything's tight, we are good. We're gonna put the wheel back on. And before you put the wheel on, this grommet was off here. I don't know if it was me or from the beginning, but I put it back on. Make sure your wires and connectors, everything's where it's supposed to be, nothing's getting pinched. When you do clamp the caliper, you can take the cap off the reservoir. It does help squeeze the calipers with less effort if you take this off. And always check your brake fluid, make sure you're at the right level. All right, just grab the wheel, stick it on. Line up the rivets with the little holes and you are good, just like that. Hubcap goes on first before the studs go in. you go. Safely mounted. 2 ooga doogies and you're good to go. All right, it's always good to do some brake bedding. It's always good to bed your brakes. BED bed, like the one you sleep in. But this is a series of braking that he heats up the rotor, heats up the pad, marries them together so they are safe and perform properly. So what I'm gonna do is go like, I don't know, 30, 35 miles per hour, hit the brakes moderately a few times, and then do about 50 to 60 and do it the same thing. Get them all heated up, bring it home, let it cool down, then I'll be good to go. You wanna make sure there's nobody behind you because you might cause an accident. And also be careful if your van is lettered like mine. I have a business and you're doing this, people might think you're doing something weird. Like, what's wrong with that guy? They don't know that you're bedding brakes. You do, like we do, but they don't. And it might look kind of funny. So just keep that in mind. It's nice because the pedal's up high now. It was really low because all the pad wear. I didn't get any notifications on the pad wear being too low. The past few months I had a funny feeling I would be needing brakes. A few days ago I started hearing a grinding sound when I did hit the brakes. And man, this is smooth now. Basically the rotor was rubbing on the frame of the pad. All right, I did a few of those. I'm gonna do some 50 to 60 miles per hour with more heavy pedal. I'll do it about 3 or 4 times and that'll be it. Take it home, let it cool down, it'll be good. And always remember, don't beat on this van. I've been through 3 transmissions. I've heard a lot of horror stories. I have a review out in this thing. It's not a bad van now because I have a new transmission, but I've gone through hell with this thing. E-brake season. I just had a caliper seize. The reason why the caliper seized was because the boot wasn't over the slider piston. I don't know if a mechanic took that off to get future work or if they never put it on from the factory. But that's the reason why it seized. Those boots have to be on. They really should be on in order to keep it sealed up and moving freely inside with the grease. Now on these fast ones, you want to go about 50, 60 and nail the brakes all the way until you stop. I mean, this thing's stopping nice now. Like really nice. It's like a brand new van. All right, I'm gonna do this a couple more times and I'll be good. Let it cool down and I'll be good to ride it, to drive it after it's cooled down. If you're doing pads on your RAM 2500 Promaster, it's pretty simple. I hope this video helped you out. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. I got more videos coming out soon. And just a heads up, you're only gonna do it a few times, the bedding. If you start seeing smoke and you start smelling caliper or like clutch, then that means they're done. You just stop and bring it home, let it cool down, you'll be good. And until next time, stay tuned. Peace.